Hey guys, welcome back to another Battleful. It's a Mordheim one, and this time Justin has finally made it into the outskirts of Mordheim and his fellow men of Treburg. After the battle against the ogres, which didn't go too swimmingly, they managed to scarper off, and now they have returned, getting to the outlying area, and now they're just trying to find a place to set up, and unfortunately they've run into a Chaos Warband. This mission is Occupy. And the buildings we have to occupy is the central building you've seen there, and the one to the top, and the one below it. I don't know if... I think there's little weird stone markers in it. We'll see later on. But yeah, on to the warbands. So my opponent's warband is the Marauders of Chaos warband. I'm sorry, I can't remember all their names. The chap at the front with the shield and halberd is his leader, also wearing a helmet. The guy behind him is their wizard, with the sword and scroll. Guy to the left is the Condemned. I love this character. Completely random stats, but you can slowly look the stats in. And to the right is the wizard is the two champions with halberds and shields. And then in behind is a couple of henchmen, and they're carrying sword and shield. And these guys, I think they're from the Marauders of Chaos list, and it's really quite a nice list and very themey. I quite enjoy reading through those lists. And onto the men of Treburg, we have Justin at the front. To the right of him, we have Meridoc, a knight-errant, who's suffering various casualties at the moment. To the left of him, we have Baron, another knight-errant. He's carrying toughness 2. Also in the last game, I managed to go buy these guys Lucky Charms. I completely forgot about it in this game. I've never went the Lucky Charm route before. This is why I'm not allowed such nice things. But anyway, hopefully it'll kick in after the game after. I should be able to remember what the hell's getting involved. And then in behind, we've got the guy with the spear and shield, Ramas, he's a squire. The two guys in brown cloaks, they are also, I think they're brown cloaks. Two squires with bow and sword. And then finally the archer on the left is a henchman. He's a bowman of Treburg. And yeah, that's all my guys, and they're looking not too bad considering. So, towards the centre of the table, I've set up Justin and Baron. And I've got my archer up high, hoping to snipe things off. Eventually I realise he's in a real bad position, so I end up moving him. Yeah, Baron, these two are going to try and tag team and just pick up on something. I just want to get some experience, really. Try and boost up my very few knights that I do have. And then on the left-hand side is everyone else. We have Callan. God, give me a second. I have my roster here. Callan, Doniet, Meridoc, and Ramas. So at the back centre, there's the enemy sorcerer with a champion and a henchman. And here's just the overview in colour. And the rest of his guys are in above where his sorcerer and henchman is, in the white building there, I believe. And so, yeah, the building down the bottom centre is one we're trying to catch. The building in the centre we're trying to catch. And then the one up by the bridge we're also trying to catch. So 3 buildings to occupy. So, as all games of Mordheim, the first turn tends to be a very quick dash to try and get some position. And I'm very slowly walking over here on the right-hand side there with Justin himself, because he's wearing heavy armour and he's got a shield as well. He's down to 3-inch movement, so only a 6-inch run. So Baron's just kindly staying with him. My other archer moved up to try and get shot into the centre building if anyone wants to go into there. At least I can just keep peppering with some arrows. The building on the right-hand side there has been taken over already by the Forces of Chaos, and in there is his leader and a, I think that's a henchman. Oh, could be a halberd actually. No, the other henchman's at the top there. So that's the leader and a champion. And in the background there, you can see the guy with the mutated ard and the Condemned, and behind him is another henchman heading towards the centre building. And just right at the top there, you can see another couple of guys. They're heading over to the left-hand building. So how I was looking at it is I was actually going to end up drawing all my guys into the centre one, beat him off that, and then try and scatter a few to the other sides just to make them like contested, in which case I had to get one objective and contest the other two. So we'll see how that goes. I've got my archer overlooking at the building at the back, and I have Doniet and Callan taking up shooting positions, while Meridoc and Ramas goes up and trying to secure the central building for me. We just move up, as you can see here. Opponent moves up to the building on the left-hand side. I try to get a couple of shots off with my little chaps there. No luck. And that's about it. He just moves up as well into a hiding position. I stick poor old Squire Ramus at the front, so he can take a beating and hopefully gain experience. And Meriadoc is in behind just to support, ready to countercharge. So the Chaos Henchman and the Condemned go in. And I have to say, considering the Condemned has random dice in this game, his stats were pretty well fixed. I think it was on average he was getting 3 attacks, but he always seemed to be weapon skill 5 and strength 2, thankfully. On the occasion where I did have to wound him, I think he was about toughness 5 as well. So random stats can be good and bad all at the same time. Unfortunately, poor Ramus was taken straight out of action between the combination of the Condemned and the Henchman, leaving Baron and that to move up into position for the next turn. Seeing I was also going to get outnumbered pretty well by this tough dude here, I've also brought my archers in, ready to countercharge in a second as well. I left one archer behind just to have some pot shots at the guys trying to run across the bridge. So as you can see here, we're now 2 on half my warband, so I'm hoping things will go a bit better here. And Meriadoc charged in against the henchman. He was also followed up with Kalan as well. Just on the background there, you can see the pillar on which Donnie is standing, trying to get some high range shots just so I can pick my targets from that point. And my other archer is running up as well, trying to find a position to where he can shoot some people. And in that crack in the wall, over jumps Baron, and in just behind is my warband leader, Tristan himself. So I decided to go all in and try and kill this henchman out straight away. Not Tristan, this is Meriadoc. I decided to fight him with dagger and sword to get the 2 attacks. In our rules that we're using, you can do that, but if you fight with dual weapons, you're at minus weapon skill. I've tried to avoid the -1 to hit, due to the fact with some other modifiers as well, from like Nurgle's Rot that might come up, or defending things, you end up being unable to hit altogether, because there's no 7-ups in this. So I thought it's easier just to drop weapon skill. So at the moment his weapon skill, I think, could be down to 2 after his poor previous injuries. But it was 4s whatever I needed to hit him. And between both of them, they did absolutely nothing, which it was a bit gutting. So on Chaos's turn, he charges in with his champion against poor old Meriadoc. This leaves Callahan himself to take on a Marauder of Chaos. And in the background there, the Condemned charges Baron. So in the combat against the Condemned actually failed to hit, and Baron actually parried one of the blows and saved another. And then put down the Condemned just in time for Tristan to jump over and slay him, which is fantastic. He then joins in the fight against the henchman, leaving Meriadoc fighting one-on-one against the other champion as well. With Kalan not really doing anything but not dying either, which is not bad for a squire with weapon skill 2, with a sword and bow. So as you can see here, Tristan, he actually just kills off the Condemned quite happily, very honourably, putting such evil out of misery, and then just getting ready to charge with the rest of them. Unfortunately, Meriadoc does not do well in the fight and gets put down, but he's only knocked out. So I think that was a helmet save as well, stopped him from being stunned. So there's a chance he will survive, and my other 2 archers now moving to a position where they can actually get thrown into combat. In my opponent's turn, our fight ends up being a bit of a fluff between Baron, Kalan, and the Marauder henchman. Unfortunately, the Marauder champion with his halberd managed to finish off the poor injured Meriadoc, so he's not having a fun time so far. But as you can see, I'm now just rushing everyone to this centre building and just trying to claim it the best I can. In my turn, that's it. We all get stuck in now, trying to take out this henchman. Tristan's charged in. We have Doniet and Kalan, both squires, in as well. Someone here can pick up experience. In fact, they're all 4 heroes, so someone here is going to get an experience points, I hope. Sorry about the wonky image. I don't know how I managed to miss this one. But, yep, we managed to take out the henchman and went into my opponent's turn. His champion charged Tristan, so he's now facing off against the Chaos champion. This other henchman, he jumped from the bridge past the initiative chest and got his diving charge. And the diving charge, I believe, is +1 weapons... No, +1 to hit and +1 strength. So he was going to do a brutal jumping charge. Tristan showed why he's a questing knight and actually manages to block and counter and put down the Chaos champion. Unfortunately, the champion, the henchman that charged my bowman with his +1 to hit and +1 strength, completely fluffed it and I couldn't do anything back because my bowman only has a dagger. So mob rules kicks in, and I charge them with my two other squires, both Callan and Doniet. Oh, I can't remember. Oh, Baron is just up in behind in the building there. You can just see him in the dark. And if you see around the corner there, you can see Halberd. His leader is actually just poked in there, so he can contest his centre one, which is really annoying. Because what I was hoping to do is, if I can get a charge on him, get rid of him, and then go and contest the other one, at least we'll be drawing. But unfortunately, yeah, it's going to be. I've got to kill off his leader to be able to do it. So Dristan does his thing and finishes off the guy wreathing on the floor for the lady. And then the Doniet and Callan and the archer finish off the other henchmen as well. And that's it for the combat. Now, I couldn't see my opponent, but I was within 4 inches, so I managed to pass an initiative test in my turn. So yeah, that's... Oh yes, that's because that other picture was obviously my opponent's turn. I didn't do anything to the chap in the first round and killed him off, and then this round I came back because he was hiding everyone. So I had a round of three moves. So yeah, Baron comes around here, tries to take on the Chaos leader. I think I send one of my squires to run under the other building to try and capture it, just to contest it. And now if I can just get rid of this guy, we're leaving finishing the game on a draw. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it, which meant that there were 2 contested buildings and one owned by the Chaos. This is one hero, not a hero. Yeah, his champion, I think, was in this building on the bottom right-hand side. I ran a squire up on the top left-hand one just to contest that one. And of course, he's still got his leader there, taking on Baron. And that's how the game ends. The game only lasts for 8 turns. No worry about, don't have to worry about route checks or anything like that. So we'll go and see how everybody did in my warband. So I started with Ramas, my squire, with spear and shield. I rolled a 1 and 3, so he was dead. I thought, oh crap! Oh no, normally purples are my 10s, so I reversed it on my second roll. I said, no, purple will be my 10s. Rolled for Marauders, and he's dead. Damn, that's not good. 2 heroes down, but hey, it happens. Now on the upside, I did actually manage to kill off one of my opponent's henchmen, so he is permanently dead. And the condemned rolled a 24, which turned out to be madness. He rolled. I was really hoping for stupidity, but no, this dude now has frenzy as well. Yeah, I suppose it makes him a bit less random now. He just gets +1 attack until he gets knocked down. Into psychology, I mean, this dude could be nuts. He can really go nuts. Just a quick shot, because I took the champion out as well. Yeah, he managed a full recovery at nice 45. Now on the upside, 2 games in, I've actually got some experience now for some of my guys. And thanks to Tristan kindly killing off the guys writhing on the floor, he's also gained some experience. For him, he ended up with a new skill. And since I'm chucking him in combat and I want him to survive, he ended up with Step Aside. For Callan, he ended up with 63 and a 1. Not 63. He ended up 9 and a 1. He ended up with an additional wound, so he's now 2 wounds. And finally, Doniet, he got to choose between weapon skill or ballistic skill. Now you would have thought I'd gone ballistic skill, but considering I've just lost my combatty squire, I actually went weapon skill. And for the next warband, he'll be re-equipped very similarly to how Ramas was equipped. And I will also be hiring a new squire called Mathis, and he will now be looking remarkably like this chap here in equipment. He'll be carrying a sword and a bow. Not only that, I wanted to get a hide sword, so I've also brought a warlock. And I know some of you are thinking, oh, hold on, Bretonians, hide swords? Not on. I did it because I thought it would actually theme me, because I'm using a damsel of the lake as my warlock. If you've seen my blog before you came here, you've probably seen a picture of her. If you haven't, you can always check out the blog, because she'll be up for the next battle. I managed to get her painted in the 2 weeks in between. Oh, it's 1 week? Yeah, 2 weeks in between the club days. So I will also have a warlock in. So overall, I was having a quick look. My warband rating will now be 86. By the way, I'm using a what am I going to say? Using a warband roster. That's for an app for the phone, making life so much easier because it does all the addings up for me and everything. It's not available on iPhone as far as I know, but it is free if you don't mind adverts, or you can spend a penny or two and help the designer out, who's done all this in his own time, really, to get it all done. And it's a useful little item. I say, I don't have a pencil paper roster. It's all on my phone, and it does all the ratings and everything for me. So yeah, at the moment I am at rating 86, so not that great at the moment. I could really do with a win and really bring in some money. I could do with a couple more henchmen. Something I can throw at the enemy, and don't mind losing too much. And I also need to buy back another errant, because now I've lost a Meriadoc, I am a knight down, and it also means I'm a hero down, and you always want to be at least as close as you can to max heroes. It's the heroes that make your money for this, as long as they survive. So yes, we shall see how the next game goes. So until then, I'll see you later. Farewellus.